evening, familia. This is Ray Collazo, your host of the Found in Translation Talk Show, the talk show that stacks truth about politics and today's hottest issues. Thank you so much for joining us. Weather's getting nicer. We're all getting a little antsy, trying to see if we can poke our head outside. And it just feels like there's something missing. We're going to get into what we're going to fulfill for everyone with this very special event, which we're very excited to continue to discuss. But of course, Found in Translation is always here for you, not only to discuss the hottest topics, but talk to the people that are making it happen so you can find out what's going on in our world, whether it's politics, pop culture, or in the case of my very special co-host today, coming back, BOMBA time, Christina Vega. One of the famous. Welcome to Found in Translation, girl.
Hello. Thank you for having me again. Love being here.
All right. And our very special celebrity A-list guest has jumped back on. Before we bring her on to this scene, Christina, we're so excited because, of course, Found in Translation, the 7th anniversary of the show a few weeks ago with a mix of inspirational leaders like yourself and great contributors to Found in Translation. And some of these artists that came out the woodwork to really inspire us and entertain us have inspired the idea of, hey, we don't got no Puerto Rican Day parades. We don't got no Puerto Rican festivals. Why don't we just do a virtual Puerto Rican party? BOMBA Live, Saturday, June 13th.
Yes, we are ready. I'm super excited, Ray. We've already gotten so much feedback from so many people. The people that we're bringing on, the artists that have already said, yes, I will come, are just, they're hot. I mean, that's all we can say. When I asked the one person, her response was, this is dope. I'm in. So super excited for BOMBA Live. Every day we're contracting different people. If people out there are dealing with your Puerto Rican community, your Latino community, you're going to miss the fiestas. You're going to miss going down, in July and just dancing some salsa. Be there on June 13th because it's going to be a phenomenal event and it's live. All you have to do is turn on your TV. You could broadcast and you could dance in your living room.
Now, this really what we're trying to do here, because oftentimes we hear from people around the country, even before this whole thing we had with COVID-19, right, is that they sort of had, especially on the mainland, I can't speak for the island, Fiesta Patronal, that's a different thing. But even on the island, I think it's safe to say that we were always kind of torn a lot of times with our Puerto Rican events, because on one hand, they're a lot of fun, entertainment, they love to do it. But we really like to promote the real story of the Puerto Rican community, not just the music, not just the flash and the partying, which, hey, we love the party, no doubt. Yes, but we want to present the entire picture. Right. So one of the things you're going to find about BOMBA Live, this is not just a party. And we're going to have all kinds of parties. And at 8:30, we got some announcements to lay out the whole schedule. We got a real thing going on here. Yes. But what I think you're going to see is, we're going to have big names. Yeah, you're going to be surprised what we bring to the table. But what you're really going to get out of it is a full picture of the Puerto Rican community. We're not just going to have people sing and dance. We're going to do that. But we're going to have conversations on here like we do in Found in Translation about this, what's happening to address COVID-19 on the island and in Puerto Rican communities throughout the United States. That's right. What are we doing to inspire our youth? And I have a very special announcement at 8:30 related to that. A lot of people have asked Christina, how are we going to make this an educational event? We have somebody that's going to bring that to the table. So we want to celebrate everything that makes Puerto Rican-ness and la Puerto Ricanidad. And, that's why, and we'll talk a little bit about 8:30 about some of the special announcements. So this is going to be a unique experience. Virtual. We're really excited to talk more about it. But Christina, going back to our 7th anniversary show, one of the things that was my only regret is I sort of booked I booked too many of my friends on the show at the same time. I'll be honest with you. So for some of these amazing people, they got one song, they got one performance, they got one moment, and then I had to kick them off because I had 20 more minutes before the show was over. So we made a commitment to our crew that we were going to bring back all these people on subsequent shows to really highlight them, let them know more about who they are, how they're making moves, how they're going for their dreams, a little more about their art, their craft, and their personal message. Because all the people that we're connected with, if you notice, Heidi Rosa, who we got a special announcement of her later, Felix Montelada, the people that we brought on, they don't just have talent. They got a message they want to share about a bigger thing. So the first person that opened the show that blew everybody away, most of y'all didn't know I had connects to Hollywood like that, is a dear sister of mine who's originally from Chicago. We wanted to bring her on as soon as possible to learn more about her experience, her art, and just kick it because she's one of the best homegirls in the biz to connect with. Hey, it's Sofie Khan.
Hey, there she is.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. That was an awesome introduction. I appreciate you.
No, Sofie, you're a dear sister of ours. So if people remember, she opened the show with one of the many monologues. We're going to play a clip of that epic monologue in a moment on the show here of her one-woman show, Mexistani. And so, of course, Sofie is everything Trump hates. She's Mexican. She's Pakistani. She's a woman. She's strong. She's brown. She represents for everything.
Okay.
And no doubt. You're like you filled out the application. You check every box. And so, but we wanted to bring you back, girl. First of all, I think people just are hungry for more Sofie Khan. They want to know about you. They want to know how you're pursuing your dream in Hollywood, how you're making it happen even during COVID-19. So, Sofie Khan, let's just start with, where did this journey begin for you?
Oh my gosh, acting or this one-woman show?
Acting. How did you start with the journey of how you led to Hollywood? Because that's a journey of itself.
Yeah, and what's funny is that I just realized that they both started at the same intersection. So my first audition was for a group called Teatro Luna in Chicago that was founded by Tanya Saracho. And Tanya Saracho right now, as we know, is the showrunner for Vida, the show that is on Starz. And Starz Network, check it out. It's in the final season. And so, my first audition was for her. And that also in Teatro Luna, in that space, she cultivated an awesome space where it allowed a lot of us, mujeres, to grow our own one-woman pieces and showcase it as part of, I think it was called Solo Latinas Live. I think it was. And that was the very beginning, like pieces of now what's Mexistani. And so that was years ago. It was a while ago. And then, of course, I got, into acting. 9/11 happened, of course. So that also threw me into a tailspin to come to grips with all pieces of my identity, not just the Latina side, because I grew up, as you heard in the monologue, I grew up in a Black and Puerto Rican neighborhood. And so I knew that. I knew everything there was to know. No, I'm just kidding. But I knew those two cultures really well, because that was my environment. That was my soul. That was my second family, my neighbors, my friends and everything. And then I didn't really come into my Mexican identity until I got into college, where I did have exposure to other Mexican students. And then on the Pakistani side, Pakistani Student Association didn't accept me. They're like, no. So
back then you were Sophia Muhammad. See,
yeah.
You would have really known her from back in the day. So, so you can't get more Pakistani than that. And they still didn't accept it. That's interesting.
Yeah. And so then from there, I think, so when 9/11 hit, that's when I really had to, had to come to grips with all sides of me. And that's when a lot of folks that knew me for years were looking at me now, and they're like, oh, actually, you look more Pakistani than Mexican now. And because all of the, we had a lot of South Asian, not a ton, but more South Asian visible in the media and everything. Not in a positive way, but, and then that also then forced me to really dive into a deeper story, to find out more about what it is to straddle the line between Mexican and Pakistani. I just label myself Mexistani. I don't even think Mexican or Pakistani anymore. I'm Mexistani.
So let me ask you this, Sofie. And we got the legend, A-lister, emerging Hollywood star Sofie Khan of Found Translation. I often tell people that growing up in the hood is a great blessing for a lot of reasons. But one of them is that you have no choice but to be comfortable in diversity, because growing up, and I grew up very similar to you in Philadelphia. I grew up with a lot of African Americans, a lot of Filipinos, grew up Alguno Asian Americans, that were the store owners. You grew up with the Irish and Italians that are sort of on the edge of the neighborhood, not too happy that you're sort of moving closer to them, but you develop rapport and you kind of learn to work that out. And so it's interesting because your family was so diverse, and then you grew up in such a diverse city like Chicago, even though Chicago is very segregated. But my point is that almost you have to be a chameleon the way we grew up just to survive and just to be who you are. So how do you think that steer you towards acting so you could express all of this? Because all of these people, as we said on the show the other day, Puerto Rican Sofie, Mexican Sofie, Pakistani Sofie, are all Sofie.
Yeah. So then in dealing with all the stresses and everything post 9/11, and with keeping a smile on my face, I actually had someone tell me that I should enroll in Second City so that I could at least laugh once a day. So at Second City, that's where I got into improv, and that's where I got to play with a lot of these characters that I grew up with. So the Puerto Rican grandfather that you see is actually my ex's father. And I got to really flesh him out. And, oye, como tú sabes, Sofía, pero ¿por qué tú estás llorando? No hay nube, you know, and all of that. And so that's where I got a chance to play with all of those characters and everything. And that was a place that really validated my experience and all of the different characters that I came across. Oh, cool.
That's awesome. I didn't see you put me in there. You are amazing. Let me start with that. When I saw your performance that day, I was on the other side in the waiting room, and I'm screaming. I'm like, I hope he doesn't just throw me to the show like he just did without me noticing, because I was like, yes, in the background. I love it. I love it. You bring such a flair and a pizzazz to the show. It was just amazing. And especially since he started with you, I was so excited that he started with you. So thank you so much for being a part of that. We appreciate it. Believe me.
Oh, thank you.
And I had a technical glitch, Chrissy. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but it's show business.
Okay.
So, Sofie, the thing I wanted you to share, and I know Christina had a couple questions for you, is that, before this, taking a step back here, and by the way, Ibelis Martinez, great friend of the show, is recently on there, been one of our great health advocates. Her daughter's Indian, so she says that her daughter's Indo-Rican. So we got a lot of people really feeling this multiculturalism that you bring it to the table. Sofie, you're a trendsetter before it was fashionable. But one of the things is that, you did have a pit stop at corporate America. This woman also was in, Silicon Valley making moves, making cheddar and doing that whole thing. So what gave you the confidence to step out and go for this? Because most people, frankly, Sofie, would have just cashed it in literally and figuratively. So, well, this ain't a bad deal. But you went to Hollywood to make it happen. So I've never really had this conversation with you. So just curious how it finally went down.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely unpack that one. I'm going to unpack a small briefcase because that's definitely a big suitcase. So actually, Ray, so what's interesting is that even though I came out here, Second City put me on such an amazing trajectory to really dive into acting and dive into all these characters that, I came out here to LA, and LA is not just Hollywood, but we also have Silicon Beach. And with Silicon Beach is also, unfortunately, stereotype, a lot of South Asians in the tech community. And I just realized, I was like, man, this whole time in my entire life, I've never been around a full community of South Asians. Even in Chicago, I have some of my cousins, not even direct cousins, but second, tertiary cousins. My immediate family is still in Pakistan, with now some family in Atlanta. And then thankfully, my dad was able to bring some to Chicago, but I was craving that connection and learning more about my culture and everything. And so subconsciously, I think that's what drew me more and more into tech. And, because, my dad was came from the school of thought of if you want something, you go for it. And my mom gave me the hard work ethic to study and everything. And so I taught myself how to code and everything during the recession, during 2008. And that's what, brought me into tech, up to Silicon Valley. And I really enjoyed being able to dive into that part of my brain and also really connect with a more widespread South Asian community. And so that was really helpful.
That's awesome. So you went from dealing with just regular work like everyone else in the world and then decided, I'm going to do what I want to do, which is funny because we actually, when we have our big announcement at 8:30, one of our guests who will be on BOMBA Live, he has sort of the same sort of background and he knows you. When we spoke to him, he mentioned you and he comes from the same thing, kind of just working in the power force and then coming in and deciding I'm going to do what, works best for me.
Let's. I'll let you finish your question, Christina. But then we just say
I'm done. I'm done.
No. You're not done. You're not done. I'm gonna pop out because you need to ask your questions. But he actually wanted to impress us by talking about how down he was with Sofie. So I was like, yeah, we cool too. So, but anyway, continue your question. That's why I let you know. Sofie's a hot commodity. People want to know Sofie's. Being associated with Sofie is truly an advantage, no doubt. But let me go back to your question, Mama.
Well, I'm just wondering because growing up in you have the two worlds that you grew up in. It was the best part of each side. Your Hispanic side, I know that I'm Puerto Rican, so I come from a family that it's like, have a job. That's all you need to do. You don't do other things like work like acting or singing. Those are not careers that you go into. You need to go to college and get a job. So did you get a lot of grief from people when you decided to leave that world and kind of just do you?
Yeah, definitely. Like meaning leave tech to go to acting, or even leave whatever to go into acting. Yeah. Yes. I think that when, and it's funny because my first job out of college was being a college counselor, where I talked to a lot of Latino families and parents of color. And I think that when parents or our families, they throw that worry towards us, I think it's because it stems from fear, and it stems from their own experience, and it stems from them not seeing visible examples of what that looks like, and how it looks like to be successful in that area, or they don't see or they don't know anyone that has gone on that trajectory. Right. And so let's say, for instance, if my mom or my dad even had colleagues or other family members that had gone on the trajectory to acting and that had made it or whatever, or was successful or was earning a salary, then they would have more confidence in me choosing that. Right. But I feel like when I chose it, my mom is like, whatever I do, bam, go for it. My dad, on the other hand, where he was like lawyer, doctor, engineer, acting,
choices.
Yeah, acting is corrupt. So, I think to my dad, I think his worry was like all the sexual harassment that happens. And he learned about that early on when he was in Pakistan, because lo and behold, I found out 2 years ago that actually he was trying to be an actor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh yeah, now you tell me. And we actually do have a cousin in Pakistan who is known and is acting out there, and she's in the media and everything. And so I think ever since she achieved her success, access and I think that's when it became more tangible for my dad. And then he became more comfortable and saw that, oh, okay, she knows what she's doing. Good, I'm done.
That's awesome. I think a lot of our families and our parents, that's someone wrote Bollywood. Yeah. That's right. I think that's what a lot of our families, worry about. Their fear is always, you should always do the safe thing. Being a doctor is safe. Being a lawyer is safe. So when you go to careers like acting and things like that, they're always fearful. But you're amazing. When you came on the show, after the show, I'm like, Ray, how do you know all these people? So, yeah, you're awesome.
Yeah. And then, the other thing I wanted to say about like the parents and like fear and all that, and in thinking about like what we do, I think the most important thing is for parents to really support their children in what they do, because if people don't pursue their passions, it ends up and shows up as vices,
right,
in our life. So yeah,
that's right. And you're listening to Sofie Khan and my co-host for today, one of our regular co-hosts, Christina Vega from the Love Shouldn't Hurt campaign. Want to shout out Christina's charity work. She's rocking her brand as we speak. So she has she's developed, Sofie, if you don't know, an incredible support network, particularly for Latina domestic violence, the survivors of domestic violence, but anybody, any partner, male, women, Hispanic or not, that's going through those situations. And we've taken special care to inform people, especially women out there that may be trapped with their, with their partner and in more danger during COVID-19 season, especially how to reach out through text and it's starting to get more attention. And Christina has always been on the forefront of that. And wanted to mention that my normal co-host on Thursdays, July Piccarelli, is on special assignment. So you'll learn more what July was up to tonight later. She's in the chat, but She's on a top secret mission this evening. So, Sofie, for people that aren't familiar, you can go to Sofie's IG handle, of course, Hey Sofie Khan, and her YouTube page and her website to find out more. Talk a little bit about, besides Mexistani, tell people about your style. Tell people about the kind of content you're creating out there and are developing, in Hollywood.
Yeah, for sure. So it actually stems from comments that I get on videos that I post on YouTube, and unexpected comments. And I never knew that by posting a video about my whisker Pedro. I call my whisker Pedro. It's like funny. It's hilarious because during, I don't know what it is with quarantine, you start to talk to inanimate like objects and whatnot. And so I ended up posting that as a video, and I never in a million years would have thought that it would have reached anyone in Pakistan and that they would have enjoyed that. So that's what really drives me to create the content. And ultimately at the core of how I create or why I create is sharing my story. And I feel like the more that I share my story, the more I get to find out about other people that have had similar backgrounds, because I have so many questions. Every time I meet someone else that is half and half, and Ibelis, hopefully we connect on Instagram, I want to know, like, how has this been like for you? Like, what religion, do you follow, or do you follow faith? Or how did you come to choose? Or what was your process? And so I think it's curiosity that drives me to create the content. And then hopefully that spurs the discussion among people that are watching that content. So that's ultimately my reason, my core. And then my process is just writing every day. Writing things that I observe, remembering moments with my family. I think a lot of us relate to anything family oriented because we all can relate to the tío that talks too much. We all can relate to the dad that might be overbearing a little bit or a lot of it, right?
No doubt about it. And you're listening to Sofie Khan and Christina Vega on Found Translation. Sofie, we're going to talk in a moment more about what you're doing in Hollywood, what your up and coming projects are, how we can support you. But the last thing I wanted to say before we get into this Puerto Rican conversation, and you're actually, Sofie's going to tee up this BOMBA Live segment with a clip from her performance from our show a few weeks ago. But that, it's a lesson because there's no overnight successes. And I can speak from personal experience over the last 6 months, Sofie, that, from when I saw you in San Diego, about a little less than a year ago, last summer, and learning more about your career in Hollywood, I've seen how far you've gone in the last 9-10 months, honestly. And, to the point where when I was in LA and I saw you a few months later, things had moved along really well. And to the point where Ellie, and I was joking earlier, but Ellie is a top talent. We're excited to him be part of the family now. But the fact is, I thought it was very telling, Sofie, for you, and I wanted to share this with you, is that when he vetted us, and when he saw that you were the first act of the last show, and he did it like on the phone, like, all right, let me see what y'all are about. What do y'all got on here? What's
he let us know he wanted the clip right that moment so that he can tell us yes or no in that moment as soon as he saw it. And as soon as he saw you pop up, he was like, Sofie?
He said, Sofie? I'm really cool, Sofie. But I think, your artistry, besides this, we cool. But
it says a lot for you.
Okay, that this is, esta gente entiende la calidad of performer that I am, because Sofie's on that level. So, and Ellie is a very celebrated guy. So to me, I always observe who gets respect among their peers.
That's right.
And when I'm sharing with you, and I'm sharing with everybody on the show, and I see Ketty, who's also been in the grind with her artistry, tremendous singer in her own right. We want to get her on the show soon, and she's really enjoying this conversation. So glad to reconnect with Ketty on the chat. But that, it's you're never an overnight success. And what I tell people is, look, this visual thing, and this show feels 10 times bigger than it did 6 months ago, just because of the momentum. But none of that happens unless I grinded it out for the first 6 years.
That's right.
And did it on audio and taught myself how to get it on iTunes and practiced, like you said, and just did it every week and experimented. Right. Some things work, some things don't. And maybe some things work, but it's not the right time for that. Like my sports talk project, which people still think, most of the guys I know still think I'm doing that. And they don't even realize this is a little different. So my point is that, so I just want a lesson for people, whether in the arts or just going for the dream, whatever it is. You know, you want to own 5 bodegas one day. That's a wonderful thing to do. You can retire on that. No problem. So whatever it is, doesn't have to be as sexy as some of this stuff, but that, you know, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen the next day, but you got to have faith in yourself, and you got to have faith in, you know, and I always tell people, literally the beginning of doing this was that I didn't sleep for 2 years because God kept telling me, Baba, you got to do this. And I didn't know why. I knew I'd like it, but I didn't know what it would lead to. And look what it's leading to. Yeah. And then people are like, how do you get these ideas? I'm like, well, it's not that I'm so smart. It's that I'm listening. Because why did God tell me 4 or 5 days ago? How did Eli Castro, there's 8 million Puerto Ricans in the world, pop in my head? I said, hold on. He'd be perfect for this. That's right. Chrissy got to connect, and then we made it happen. So just a lesson in perseverance, Sofie, because you've always, I'm going to tell you this last story, then we're going to jump on. I remember one of the first conversations I had with Sofie. I mean, she might have been a freshman in college. Is Sofie comes up to me and explains to me how excited she was. No, it was something to the effect of, I said, Sofie, did you get paid Friday? She goes, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? She goes, well, I kind of just saved $17,000 to buy a car because I really wanted this car. And I said, she goes, well, so I have a paycheck here. I just kind of save it because that's the way I am. I said, she's 19 years old and this woman has, I'm a few years older and I'm totally broke and she's got 20 G's in the bag. So, but Sofie is, Sofie is such a life force in a lot of ways. And you've always taught me a lot, Sofie. So in that spirit, so excited to have Sofie on the show. We got some announcements, but I want to break down people how down. If you didn't see the 70-year anniversary show, Sofie talked about how down she was Puerto Ricans, but this clip of her epic performance on Found in Translation is going to really break it down for you. This is the first time I'm doing this with the tech people, so be patient with me. So we're going to watch this clip, and then we're going to get into a very special announcements about the Bomba Live show. Okay, ladies? All right, give me a second. Come on now. That's legend status. You know, Sofie, when you have the Netflix special and you win Grammys, you win Emmys and Oscars, you're on the red carpet looking fabulous. You always look fabulous. But, you know, like with Ryan Seacrest, that's going to be the clip. That's going to have set it off.
Okay.
Sofie, talk to me about writing that, and then we'll get into our announcements. Girl, talk to me, girl.
First of all, when that happens, we're going to come back to this clip right here when you said it. And I also have to say,
well, by then I'm going to take Ryan's spot on the carpet, so don't worry about that.
You are on that trajectory, brother. And I just also have to say that in knowing Ray from yesteryears, so impressive. Everything that you do, you set your mind to, and you are also an amazing inspiration to so many, not just Latinos, but anybody that is looking to pursue their passion. You are also an amazing inspiration to so many.
But Sofie, so that just gives you a sense of the kind of background, the blessing of her living Northside Chicago, Humboldt Park. And thank you, Sofie, because look, the reality is your talents spread well beyond the Puerto Rican Latino community, even, let's be honest about it. And so the fact you include us and you have that warm memory of our community, so you know you always have a home here. Tú es casi boricua anyway, as far as we're all concerned. So that's
I think you should join us on Bomba Live.
Oh, this, like, I don't want to put her on the spot. So you know what, Christina, you can.
I will.
All right, I'll get out the way. You make the formal invitation right now publicly. I'll get out.
Well, listen, since I'm the talent guy, girl. I think you should join us on Bomba Live. It's a celebration of all Latino talent. And I think that your talent is phenomenal. And I think that you would be an amazing part of our show.
Oh, well, gracias. I appreciate you. Thank you.
So I'm just saying, I think you
Notice she didn't confirm. She's got to get back with her publicist. Is going to get back with you, girl, and negotiate.
I got to talk to my people. No,
I'll send your people an email and they can send it back to me.
That's actually one of the announcements that we wanted to share here. Thank you. And Sofie, if you could join us on the 13th, of course, we'd be honored. We'll hype you up one way or another. You got so many clips on YouTube. So you're gonna be a part of the show, whether you're available or not. But I did want to share that. I don't think we had formally announced Christina, but we have put together a formal team. Of course, Elba Garcia will be the technical producer for the show. But Christina Vega is formally the talent director for Bomba Live. So we're really excited about that, Christina. You've jumped right into it. Christina, why don't you talk a little bit about the rest of the team, and why don't you start laying out some announcements here? Bomba Live, June 13th. It's going to be an all-day extravaganza.
That's right.
You're going to be able to follow it everywhere you can follow the Found in Translation talk show. So give us some updates on some of the exciting stuff you've been announcing over the week on social media.
I sure will. So the event is taking place, as Ralph said, on June 13th. I'm sounding like Sofie now. I'm messing up my letters. June 13th, we will have our BOMBA Live. We are super, super excited, and I've been going crazy on social media making this announcement. It will be a virtual event. It will be all day long. So people are wondering what's going on. What are we talking about? So, you know, a lot of our fiestas have been canceled. Our parade was canceled. Our Latin fiesta downtown was canceled. In New York, you know, a lot of things are just being canceled everywhere, but we want to make sure that we can still celebrate our people. So we're doing it virtually. So it will begin at 2 p.m. during the day. And what we will be doing during the day will be kind of highlighting our Latino-owned businesses, highlighting just different people out there who, you know, help our Latino community. We are definitely paying homage to Puerto Rico because there's been so many horrible things going on right now with the earthquakes in Puerto Rico and COVID-19 just affecting so many of our people and not getting the help that they need. So we have amazing people already on, and I'm super, super excited for that. So before anything, I just want to kind of give people a rundown of the people that will be there. Yes, I believe, put it in your calendar. Everyone watching, make sure that June 13th, you are watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere the Found in Translation is streamed. So I'm super excited for our comedian who will be our co-host for the event because I am an avid follower. I follow Eli Castro comedy on Facebook. I follow him on Instagram, and I had the opportunity of seeing him for my birthday last year. And I tell you, he is hilarious. He is a prosecutor who became a comedian. He decided, you know, he no longer wanted to do law. He wanted to become a comedian, and he has gone all over the world. He's currently doing his one-man stand-up made in Puerto Rico. It was phenomenal. That was the show that I saw. So he is going to be our co-host for the event. So I hope that all of the talent, all of the people who are joining us are able to take it because he will not let you live it down. So if you do something bad, he is going to comment on it. I think besides everything else coming, if you want to see a funny thing, if you've been sad with just being home and kind of just being depressed, you'll want to, you know, chime in that day because he's going to keep us laughing all day. So Eli Castro is our, you know, well-known A-list comedian who will be co-hosting the event. Along with another number of co-hosts, we have Mia Mendez, who is Philly bred. She was born in Philadelphia. She went to Temple University. She is joining us. She is known on the radio here in Philadelphia for being the female voice on 103.9 prior to their change. She has done talk radio in Connecticut, Philadelphia. She recently was out in Atlanta, and now she's back in Philadelphia, and she will be joining us as well. We have international master percussionist Pablo Batista, who has played with Alicia Keys, Patti LaBelle, and Kirk Franklin, just a few to name. He will be on the show, so that's super, super exciting. We have our well-known, you know, we're trying to support our people in Philly. We're going to go all through the U.S. We'll be having people from New York, from Chicago, from D.C., from Puerto Rico. We will be supporting everyone from everywhere. Right now, we have in our salsa room, because every party has to have an after party. So we will have DJs from around the world who will be in different rooms at the after parties. DJ Jose Rodriguez, who everyone in Philadelphia should know. If you don't, look him up. He will be the DJ in our salsa room in Philadelphia. So if you want some music in the after party, DJ Jose Rodriguez will be there. We have Heidi Ann Rosa, who has 5 years in broadcasting. She has her own podcast, Women's Pulse. Her voice is being heard. She's also a domestic violence survivor. So that's amazing. I support everyone because that's my initiative. But she has a phenomenal voice. She was also on Ray's 2-year anniversary show. If you did not check out the show, go back and find the link for Found in Translation. You can see some of our artists who will be performing. We also have a live salsa performance by well-known dance partners here from Philadelphia. And we want to make sure that people are aware of, you know, what's going on with this COVID-19 crisis, you know. So we also have brought in someone who's special to me because she's my sister, Michelle Vega Olivo, who is a nurse practitioner for Temple University Hospital, who works right now with the COVID-19 crisis. We brought her on, and she's going to be able to enlighten us throughout the day from our 2 to 5 show. Let us know what's going on with our Boricua community, our Hispanic community, and how COVID-19 is affecting us. So those are a few of the people right now that we want to highlight because we have already brought them in, but we have so many people who are just everyday accepting. So Stay tuned. If you have not already followed our Bomba Live page on Facebook and Instagram, go follow it because you will have live updates every day of the different musical artists, dance crews, different companies we're going to highlight through the day, well-known Boricua companies who just are out there doing their thing, not only in Philadelphia. This is not just in Philadelphia, people. We are honoring people from Puerto Rico, New York, everywhere you can think of all over the U.S. You're going to want to tune in that day because it's going to be an amazing event.
We can't even do justice to the totality of the ambitiousness of what we're trying to do here. We're going to have a daytime segment, which again is kind of be more analogous to the kind of programming that you see on a normal found translation show. Some seminars, some discussion. We're going to have people involved in Puerto Rico, and we got to crowdsource this. We don't have this all figured out. So Shirley Santos, who was watching the show earlier, just agreed today to help us. Not only is she being honored for being the educator of the year for found translation, but she wants to help out, say, look, we got to get more Puerto Rican leaders from the island involved in this. I'm looking at you, Belize, and some of the people in the chat, like, we could use some connects. We have some strategic ideas. So we actually have someone I want to call in. Let me see who this is. This is interesting. Hello, Lenice. I don't know who that was. But wow, we got that's Zoom bombing, stream bombing, I guess. Is that what that is? Interesting. But nevertheless, so if there's people out there that say, look, I got an idea, I got to connect with somebody. We don't have this all figured out. So we're going to need some more people to help out. So we definitely want to crowdsource this. But the one thing I also did want to announce, again, we're going to have entertainers. I'm talking to, and Christina knows, there's a couple
A-list people.
We're talking, I mean, we're real close to a couple big names.
That's right.
After Memorial Day weekend, but we got to hold. We can't put everybody out there. But I was trying to save Sofie for a little later. Yeah, but that's fine. You called her out. But my point is that it's not just about the singers and the day. I mean, we love that, but we want to talk to people in Puerto Rico what's going on. We want to honor people, so we're going to be honoring several leaders around the country. Again, not just on the island on the East Coast, but Puerto Rican leaders in Arizona, Colorado. There's Puerto Ricans that represent in all fields, Puerto Rican scientists. So this is something you want to sit down with your kids and say, look, this is what we're about. It's not just the artists, which of course we love that and we honor them too. But this is about, you could be a Puerto Rican and be an astronaut or be a scientist or be an accountant or be, in the case of your sister, a high-end medical professional. You know what I'm saying? You're in education, you're in activism, media. You can do it all if you want to. Follow your dreams like Sofie talked about. So that's very important. But the one thing I wanted to share, which I just got confirmation today, was very close to my heart, but a dear brother of ours, you see a lot of his co-workers on the show, from Cool Speak, the president CEO of Cool Speak, Boricua entrepreneur in his own right, one of the great national motivational speakers in the country, who's one of our homeboys, Carlos Ojeda Jr., has agreed to do a keynote address. He is going to do a keynote address during Bomba Live for the Puerto Rican youth of the world. So we're talking about something that's going to be very grand, and he's going to do it. So if you have young people, whether Puerto Rican or not, particularly if they're Puerto Rican young kids or younger people, you want to make sure, we'll let you know what time he's going to do this keynote address during the afternoon or early evening. But you want to make sure you're sitting down in front of this, watching Bomba Live, because he's going to give an inspirational message. He's gone through an incredible personal story himself, built an incredible business about supporting children, and a great father, great husband, wonderful guy. And when I reached out to him today, say, look, Carlos, people are reaching out, say, we need an educational component. We need to inspire young people to understand they can be whatever, not just reggaeton stars or ballers or whatever. He said, of course, I'll be there. So Carlos Ojeda Jr. is going to give the national youth address for Boricua youth all over the world, whether in Puerto Rico or the United States, wherever they're at. So we're very excited, Christina. This is going to be not just a parade, not just a party. We're going to party. But this is going to be something that gives you the whole picture of what we're about. So we're really excited about that. Before we bring Sofie Khan back, and I also have another announcement about where I'm going at 10 o'clock, which I'll put in the chat, which we'll talk about for the show. Christina, you did have one news item you wanted to ask me, and we wanted to update people quickly on the found translation.
Well, there's been a lot of articles coming out lately, Ray, in reference to Joe Biden. They're saying that he's taking Latinos for granted. He just hired Julie Chavez Rodriguez as a senior position in the campaign. Do you really think that Biden's in trouble with our people?
He's got a lot of work to do. I think this, first of all, and I know a lot of my political nerd friends are like, they watch these, these articles are going to be expected. Look, you're months from the campaign. Right. There's not much on the presidential election side. There's not really that much to write about. Biden's literally stuck in his basement. We get out more than this guy running for president, frankly, just because of the whole situation. But look, you can't blame Latinos. You can't really blame anybody, frankly, for not being too hype about the guy. I was thinking about this analogy today, and I want to see if people can relate to this. Is that Biden is like the guy or the woman you went to the, like, if you run into, if you went to the junior prom with, like the junior prom, not the senior prom, like the junior prom. And then 20 years later, you run into them in the street and you're both happen to be single and they look okay. They may be losing their hair a little bit, but you look at their Facebook, they seem like they're cool with their kids, but there's nothing that exciting about the guy you went to junior prom with. You know what I'm saying? He's been around and it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. If you look at his agenda, we got to push on the Latino stuff, but it's just stale. And they've got to, you know, they're not going to change who this person is. He's in his late 70s. He's old school for the good and the bad. He's old school. He's not going to energize young people with social media the way a Bernie did or an AOC does. That's just not going to happen. But what he should do and he needs to do is go beyond the sexy names. Julie Chavez Rodriguez, wonderful person. I work with her very well. When she worked with the Obama administration, she got me in the White House a few times for very important conversations on Latino issues. So I got nothing but love for Julie. For people that know, she is the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez. So, you know, it's like, okay, I'm down with black people, so I'm going to hire one of Kanye's kids. It's not, you know, like, yeah, she's qualified. I'm not saying she's not qualified, but you just can't, names ain't going to get it done. You got to talk about the real issues. Right. How are you going to, you know, and people know I've been on media all day, all over the country from my day job with Unidos US, talk about how Latino businesses ain't getting their fair share with this relief package. There's Puerto Ricans and Latinos in Florida or in Jersey or wherever, they can't even get through to get their unemployment, which they deserve. They didn't do nothing wrong to get laid off. That's you know, our people, our insulin prices go up. There's all these issues impact our community. Talk about the real issues and show that you're fighting for us. When it comes to the Puerto Rican issue, and I'm going to keep saying it until they address it, is you want to get Puerto Ricans excited. Talk about getting rid of the Jones Act, finally. Talk about getting rid of the Puerto Mesa Board. Like, talk about a Puerto Rican agenda that deals with Puerto Ricans' issues on the island and here in a real substantive way, not, oh, I got a Puerto Rican celebrity. I hired Ray Collazo to be my national Puerto Rican director. Fine. What's that going to do for our regular people? Do things that really are going to impact people in a positive way. So, Julie's cool. No problem. Wonderful. God bless her. She's cool. She does her thing, but he's got to do something because right now he's looking like Tito from junior high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's cool. He seems nice with his kids on Facebook, but really, I want to go back to Tito. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So let's bring Sofie Khan back in this conversation. Sofie, I'll never be as funny as you, but I got to let people know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, you have all of us cracking up over here.
He's the junior prom guy. You know, not even the senior prom. Senior prom's different. People got memories of the senior prom. The junior prom, I was young. Yeah, it was cute, but my mom hooked it up. Like
my mom.
It's hard to get hype for the junior prom guy. You know what I'm saying?
You can't have a show like on major media already. Like, oh my goodness.
I say, man, what are we doing here? You know, we're getting there, but look, you're gonna blow up first, but that's fine because you're the big baller. So, Sofie, just what else is on your mind, girl? Bomba Live. Tell me, Sofie, give me a memory.
Right now, this one's on my mind. My nephew.
Okay.
Hi.
That's what's up.
He's waving to us.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. Is he in Chicago or California?
In Chicago, yeah.
That's what's up.
It was just his birthday. If you could wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, young. What's his name?
Hakeem.
Oh, happy birthday, Hakeem.
Hakeem Cuatlatoa.
Walaikum salam, brother. No doubt. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Sofie always down with the family. Sofie, I know you grew up Puerto Rican your whole life, girl. Just when you think about us and, it's like not even thinking about somebody different. But when you think about, I know you must have gone to on Humboldt Park and Clement. You must have gone to so many Puerto Rican festivals and parades. I know there's a lot of memories of these get downs. I know there is for you, girl.
Yes, for sure. I still have.
I said you can't stop laughing.
I stop laughing because I'm just like all of them just flash back to me right now. Throwback Thursday. You gave me a task, Ray, to like jump on my Instagram and throw up all my old school Boricua Festival posts and everything. And what's funny is that also I'm pansexual. So it's funny that I have more photos of me at Boricua Festival than like Gay Pride Parade, the Pride Parade up in Chicago and everything. And so I'm just like, I need to balance it out. But yeah, so many different memories. I think one of my favorite memories of being, growing up in a Black and Puerto Rican neighborhood and the interactions with all of these families was, I remember one of my friends, his mom putting on a pair of pantyhose that was meant for drag queens. And she was like, pero mija, esto es para qué? And you can't see it, but she has some extra material down there. And to this day, I feel like that was like the ultimate like funny memory, like around the Puerto Rican parade, because she was trying to get her hose on, get all nice and dressed for the festival and the fair and everything. And so, yeah, super.
Much respect to our Chicago Puerto Rican community. They're going to be involved. We're going to make announcements next week. We connected, Sofie, how many people we got out there doing big things? What arguably the most organized politically and community-wise community we got in the States. So they're going to have a big impact on this. We're trying to involve them on multiple levels. So you're going to hear those announcements next week. We always got love for our Humboldt Park fam out there in the Chi. But the thing I wanted to share with you, Sofie, is that doing these shows with you 2 of the last, 4 weeks, it's been great on a lot of levels. So great to connect with you. But it recalls I almost feel like I have to stand up, because if y'all noticed the backup that Sofie does, that's her signature move. When she gets hyped, she does this like, hold up. Uh-oh. Because when you're going to back up, you're either in a breakdance cipher, like you about to tumble, or you about to take the earrings off and get the Vaseline going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Hilarious.
So that's your trademark, girl. Remember that. The backup. Oh,
thank you. The backup.
The James Harden. The James Harden, no doubt. Sofie, let people know where they can follow you, support you. I know you got a lot of projects going on, girl. And then we'll make these final announcements as we wrap up this edition of Found Translation.
Yes, definitely. So my website is sofiekhan.com. And if you're like, I don't know how to spell that last name, you can just follow me at Hey Sofie Khan on IG. And I know it's on there, it's visible. Khan, Khan, it's just the easiest because Muhammad, everybody kept putting Mojada and everything. So it would misspell it all kind of ways. The next couple of projects that I got coming up is obviously doing a lot of comedy writing for my one-person show and moving it from the theater space, obviously, to now a digital space, so that it could be more widespread. And ultimately, the goal of that is to connect folks like Ibelice's daughter, who is Indo-Rican, and to create a community of people that are of different cultures, and to answer the questions and to discuss and to share and form bonds. And so that's ultimately
wonderful. One of the reasons we wanted to have Sofie on the show before the end of the month is we wanted to give a little love and respect, of course, always to Sofie in general, but to represent for our Asian American Pacific Islander community. So, because it's API month, you know what I'm saying? So, and we actually, so we may have some programming on that next week. Some things are in the works with that. But my point is that we also want to make sure we get love for the whole Asian American population, whether it's the East Asians, Southeast Asians, of course, our Central South Asians, like Sofie's family, so there's a lot of love there, a lot of connections. Me and Christina grew up. How many Filipinos did we grow up with, Christina? I mean, that was like
too many to count.
They almost had as many people in their houses as we did.
Yeah, so, exactly.
And the only people that were more Catholic, I mean, God, the next pope should be a Filipino. Those people are Catholic. My God. I mean, they're very fervent, very and wonderful people. We got that's another set of the cousins in our world. So much respect to our Asian American and Pacific Islander brothers and sisters. Christina, Bomba Live, give us any final thoughts and words, and then I'm gonna let people where they can watch me in an hour, because the party ain't stopping already.
Ray has a lot going on always. I just think that you all should do what I said. June 13th, you just channel in live to all the places that you can find Found in Translation. Make sure that you're there, because it's going to be a phenomenal event. Not only are we just highlighting, like he said, artists, but we're also going to pay homage to Puerto Rico and everything that's going on. And we want to support our people. We want them to know that we are here no matter where we are. Even though we're not on the island, we still are here supporting them. We want to give them tons of love. And listen, like I said, if you're home and you're just desolate and feeling down and low, it's going to be a great and amazing event. Watch it, be there. You'll get a lot of great information throughout the day. And at night, join us for our primetime event at 7 p.m. and our after party with all of our DJs from around the U.S.
No, and for people that, we can't do this alone. So whether you can reach out to us, and me and Christina are not hard to find on social media. So you just reach out to say, even if you're not most of these people even know us or are connected somehow. That, we need that continuous, we need ideas, people's own contributions. We really want to do this right. And, we want to raise some money for the COVID-19 response and the disaster relief Puerto Rico. And we really want to do this con clase and really do this in a way that is fitting to the moment. But the other part of this is that we need to raise awareness about this event, folks. So if you all do nothing else except watch on the 13th, we ask of this. Follow us on IG at BOMBA Live PR and follow us on Facebook at BOMBA Live PR. Just following it and inviting all of your friends to invite it. If y'all just do nothing else for this, because the more we can spread the word just amongst the people watching this right now, if you invite all your friendship network, a lot of them are Puerto Ricans, a lot of them would want to watch this. Our non-Puerto Ricans are more hyped to watch this than us. Let's keep it real, because we got all the hey, we got the flav. So please share with all your friends. Just have them follow on Facebook, follow us on IG, and that will that'll help build the momentum that we need to really spread the word. Because look, we're bootstrapping this. We ain't Telemundo, we ain't Univision. We ain't. Let's keep it real. I don't got iHeartRadio in my back pocket like other people do. But guess what? Our show, from a quality perspective, is going to be up there. And I'm just talking about the immediate people, but the sentiment and the kind of character we're going to bring to the table, and the people like Sofie Khan. Sofie, you're the best. I care about you so much. You're my sister, and it's been so great to connect after all these years. Last thing I want to make sure that we let you know is, and I know I've kind of had a dizzying media whirlwind tour this morning. I don't know if you saw, Sofie. I was on CBS this morning for Unidos US. So, and then I did other local interviews. I was on CBS in Houston today. I was on CBS in LA today. You missed it because you're on here. But, I've had a crazy day. But the party don't stop. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Julio Ricardo Varela, Julito, 77 on social media. One of the top Latino journalists in the country, and one of the top Latino podcasters in the country. He's been starting to do a show like this on Facebook Live every night, 10 o'clock. And I'm going to be on the show in an hour, 10 o'clock Eastern. You see it on the crawl here. So look up on Facebook or Twitter, Latino Rebels Radio, at Latino Rebels or at Latino Rebels Radio. I'm going to be on his show at 10 o'clock. So y'all got to give me love. And I need comments. I need support for Bomba Live. I need, interaction. Let them know it's not just me. It's a Ray Hive. You know what I'm saying? So I need you to represent at 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, get back on Facebook, get back on Twitter, look up Latino Rebels, Latino Rebels Radio. And I'll bring the heat with my man, Julio Ricardo Varela. Sofie, all the best to you. Don't forget us when you blow up.
Thank you so much.
Christina, my talent director, I couldn't have a better person being the number 2 of this project. Thank you so much. You've done a fantastic job. We're going to keep bringing Ray and Jose and Albert, all these, Abe and Shirley and Zoe and the whole crew. They're going to be a big part of this as well. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Found Translation. Support Sofie, support Christina, and love shouldn't hurt. And I'll see y'all 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.